This series has been a game of adjustments, and the entire game, health has been wealth. Listen, J-Dub has missed the last 2 games in San Antonio. He did re-injure his left hamstring during Game 2, and we're coming off a game. Listen, the OKC bench, they had been phenomenal through the first 3 games of this series, scoring at least 50 points. But in Game 4, they only had 34 points, so a guy like J-Dub could certainly make a difference in a Game 5.
Absolutely. He brings his experience, his scoring. On the defensive end, is a guy who can switch up the line or down the line, whatever you choose. And he's another creator. So with all of the double teaming, he can kind of run the point and run the show for him and let Shea have the play off the ball and with a live dribble, which is scary to say. So he's definitely missed on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, when they, obviously J-Dub and what he brings to this team in this game, Shea needs him. Shea needs somebody to relieve the pressure off of this defense, because this defense was all over Shea this series. J-Dub is a guy who can create for himself, who can go get a buck in an isolation situation, who can play off the ball with Shea, and also could defend on the opposite side of the basketball. So I hope he plays, but I also hope that he's healthy.
Yes, remains questionable as of now. A.J. Mitchell, he is out dealing with a calf strain. Usually he starts in the absence of J-Dub, but Cason Wallace actually got the start in Game 4 with both of them out. But we have seen J-Dub do this before, come out and warm up some and still be ruled out of the game. All right, we're going to talk about this game nonstop as we get you set for tip-off. But first, we have another envelope here. So we get to give out our last NBA award of the season, and it is Coach of the Year. Let's talk about the finalists of really loaded year. Very deserving candidates. J.B. Bickerstaff led a historic turnaround in Detroit, guiding the Pistons to a top seed in the East. While Mitch Johnson, obviously we're watching exactly what he did, led the Spurs to 60 wins in his first full season in charge. And then there's Joe Mazzulla, who steered the Celtics to one of the best gap year seasons that we have ever seen, not knowing when Jason Tatum would come back, but they were able to get that 2 seed. You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Your NBA Coach of the Year is Joe Mazzulla of the Boston Celtics.
Wow. Well, you said it, the gap year. I mean, here's a guy who he took a team. You good? He took a team that we felt that, no Jason Tatum, what's going to happen? I don't know. But his system is implemented, and everybody stepped in, and JB had a phenomenal year under this coach.
What a surprise. What a surprise, but he deserved it. I mean, you look at JT not being with them this year. A lot of, reporters and players had them written off because JT wasn't there, just didn't know how that roster was going to shape out. He did a phenomenal job of really bringing that crew together, having, accomplished the, number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference without having your best player is something to really marvel about.
And when you talk about how they got rid of a lot of people, they traded a lot of players over the past couple seasons. And for Joe Mazzulla to get that locker room right, even with Jason Tatum going down last season, not really understanding or not knowing or having an idea of what the Celtics team was going to look like, what was going to be the personnel, what was going to be their identity. And he did a great job of allowing Jaylen Brown to get at the helm of that table and to lead the Boston Celtics. So for him to see that and have that vision and trust on his guys, this is why he's the coach of the year.
It'll be interesting to see how his reaction is to this, because I remember him saying he don't even care for this award.
Yeah, right.
He said they shouldn't even
He did say the award was stupid, but what his point was is that he believes there should be an award for an organization or for a staff, because
absolutely.
he believes he didn't shoot a shot, he didn't play a back-to-back game, that he's not the one who should be receiving the award. But ultimately, like you guys kind of said,
one of the masterminds.
He crafted an identity out of something, cobbled it together really when we didn't know what to expect coming into the season. They end up with 56 wins. He is the 4th Boston Celtics head coach to receive this award, the first since Bill Finch was able to do it. So it's more than impressive. And I think we're so deep in the Western Conference Finals, we forget what happened and what the Celtics were able to do. And now Joe Mazzulla is ready to speak with us here. And first of all, Coach, congratulations.
What up, Joe?
Congrats, Coach.
How are you guys? How you doing?
What's up, brother?
We're doing good. Listen,
Good to see
Coach,
you guys.
we know you said that this should be an award that is given to an organization and a staff, so I'm going to give you the moment to shout out to the supporting staff that you have that allowed you to receive this award today.
No, thank you for that. 'Cause that means everything to me, and I think a lot of times, the long nights, the trips, game plans, the video guys that are clipping up the film and coding it, the assistants who are putting in the game plans. I think there's just so much that goes into winning one game, and it starts with the players, but it goes to our staff. And so I feel bad that they're not here, but forever indebted to the guys that we have that give up their time with their families and their time to give us a chance to win every day. So I obviously, grateful for the platform God has given me, grateful for my wife, but really I want to thank the players, and truly I want to thank my staff. I love those guys.
Coach T-Mac here. Because we are in the playoffs, from a psychological standpoint, how do you handle when the player has played, a significant role and impactful for the team, and then he regresses in the playoffs? How do you handle that in terms of, the mental part of that and keeping him confident and also keeping the team confident as well, keeping that morale from a team's perspective?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you just always want to rely on the guys. I mean, the players are the ones that put you in that position, and they're the ones that get you there. And obviously there's a difference between, the regular season and the playoffs from the standpoint at what's at stake. But it's the guys that give you a chance every single night. And so you just want to rely on the guys. You want to remind them of the confidence and the love that you have for them, and you trust them in the most competitive moments.
VC here, Coach. How were you able to, we the media, I'm not going to say we wrote you guys off, but we're like, okay, a gap year, this and that. How were you able to navigate and empower your team to become what they became this year, the number 2 seed in the East, and had a lot of success? How were you able to make that happen?
Yeah, it's twofold, right? Because I think at the end of the day, regardless of what happens in an off season or what moves may be made or what it is, the process towards a championship is the number one goal, and sticking to that process. And I think that's a credit to the players, but it's a credit to the entire organization. One of our first meetings this year, we met our entire building, and it was like, we're going to continue to stick to the process of winning and not get caught up in the external things. And I thought the commitment from the entire organization to just sticking to the process gives us a chance, and we obviously fell short of that. But I thought, throughout the regular season, our guys came in with a huge chip on their shoulder. They came in wanting to stick to that process and get better every day. And if you don't have a group of players that want to get better every day, you just don't have a chance.
Coach, coming into this season, really understanding that Jason Tatum was going to be out and suffered that Achilles injury. What was the conversation with your group of guys before the season, going into training camp, on how to approach this season? Because without JT, that's a different dynamic that you're missing and that you was going to need. So what did you say to the team? How did you approach that locker room? How did you gather all of those guys to approach this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think there was just a true level of trust there. Again, I think, one, we have an ownership and a responsibility to the Celtics to just go after winning, regardless of the circumstances. And that comes with success, that comes with failures. And we've experienced both, as a team, as an organization, and a lot of us. Then I think there's different relationships that you have. You have relationships with your staff. Like I said, this is for our staff, and they came in with a great game plan that matched the personality and the strengths of the roster that we had. It starts with the cornerstones of the guys that you have. There was a trust factor that Jason was going to work as hard as he could to get back. It was a great conversation that Jalen and I had about where we wanted to go and what we wanted to do. And I think the beginning of the season, the mindset that Jalen took on and the chip on his shoulder that he had, playing the way that he played, but also being the leader to the young guys that he had, and relying on guys that have been there, like Peyton and Sam and Derek and those guys have always been there. And I think the chip on your shoulder from some of the younger guys that had something to prove. So just leveraging the different relationships and the responsibilities, from the entire roster. Sorry if I forgot anybody, fellas, but just leveraging the different mindsets that the guys were in and coming together and trying to stick to the process of winning. So it's a credit to those guys for doing that.
Well, congratulations again, Joe. I got to ask you, where are you? Did we catch you off guard? You just had to run, sit down, and hop on a Zoom real quick?
Just sitting at my house, I'm doing anything. But,
right. Getting ready to watch the ball.
I have a ton of respect for everybody on the call here, and thanks for what you guys did for the game of basketball. And like I said, I'll be forever indebted to a group of guys that give up everything they have in our staff, and and you know, I love my players, so I appreciate it.
Congratulations, Coach.
Congratulations again. That's Joe Mazzulla. He is the NBA Coach of the Year, just 37 years old. Plenty more to come over his coaching career. Yeah, speaking of awards, let's keep our ball rolling. Let's go into some meaningful moments and give out an award to a guy named Vince Carter. On this day 27 years ago, he was named the Rookie of the Year. BC, you received 95% of the votes. You remember that moment? How did it feel, BC?
I remember because I tell you, Paul Pierce was playing great basketball, and White Chocolate, a.k.a. Jason Williams, was playing great basketball. And that year, you know,
This was crazy.
Mount Mutombo.
Deep.
Look at you.
No. I came in as a 5th pick.
What was
and
that? What do you call that
That was
little
something
skinny
different.
strip
That was just-
right here?
that-
What is that?
What was this?
What is
I
that?
don't know.
You ain't got that.
It's
little
great
cheek,
now. If I had that now, it's great.
What was that?
Landing strip on the chin. The strip. That's what they call it.
Landing strip?
The runway.
The runway. Oh yeah.
To what? Where are we going, twin?
So,
That's what it looked like.
To answer your question, don't stop. Stop. To answer your question, no, I came in as the 5th pick, and you know, obviously the #1 pick, Olawokandi and Mike Bibby were guys that were talked about. But Butch Carter came in the second day of practice. He's like, "Hey, we're gonna make you a player. We're gonna show the world that you belong here." And then from that day forward, I just felt confident. I always asked questions, and I just went out there and played basketball. And as I got more comfortable, great things started to happen.
I like it. He's just so humble.
Casually.
Butch Carter came in and said, "Hey, BC, we're gonna make you special." He was already special.
No.
BC.
But they put it all together.
Okay, they packaged it up.
You know what? We love a humble Hall of Famer. That's what we have up here on this set, okay? That's a bunch of humble Hall of Famers. There's a future Hall of Famer. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 2-time MVP. We're just finding out that J-Dub is out for tonight, so more of the scoring load will definitely be on SGA's shoulders as we're getting you set for Game 5 in Oklahoma City.
Block there. Offensively, defensively, Wemby was just locked in.
Went to the basket. Vassell said no. Spurs the other way with Vassell to Wemby.
Great playoff basketball here.
Wembanyama, I think he's going to go from midcourt. Got it!
Nothing but the bottom.
I wasn't messing around at halftime.
Look out, Castle coming. Took it away with Wembanyama.
Anytime we can turn defense into offense, that's when we're at our best.
Vassell reads it, takes it away. The lob, Castle. The Spurs are alive tonight. Resounding response for San Antonio in Game 4. Best of 7, now a best of 3.
The series is 2-2 and basically 0-0 in its first of 2 games now. It is a fact, and it is the reality of where we are.
We are all tied up at 2-2, and Victor Wembanyama said it best. He was not messing around in Game 4. 22 points in that very first half. Right now, he's averaging 30 points and 13 rebounds throughout the first 4 games of this conference finals. And there's his dad, Felix Wembanyama. He's got to be a very proud dad for what he is seeing his son display. Right now, the Spurs plus 12.5 when Wemby's on the court, minus 11.5 when he's off of it. He has been the difference maker for the Spurs. And again, we always state the fact that he's just 22 years old. He has shown so much poise. Now he returns guys back to OKC, and you know the Thunder want to land a punch. So Wemby's going to have to be the guy that defends against him.
Well, we're talking about Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. This is no X's and O's. This is about who turn it is and make a punch. For a couple games, OKC threw punches. San Antonio came back and threw punches. But this Game 5 right here, we know and we understand that whoever wins this game, the percentage of that percentage is going to win this series. So Wemby have to be, again, transcendent. On the road this time, not at home. He's on the road. I want to see if they can neutralize OKC's bench again the way that they did in San Antonio, which is why they was able to, be so destructive towards OKC in Game 4. Wemby have to be Wemby. He have to keep up in his game, another level. And this is not about X's and O's no more. This is about who wants it and who's going to go out there and win the middle game that's out there.
This is about who are you?
Yeah.
What's your identity, right? If you look at games 1 and 4, Wembanyama dominated the game. He established himself on both ends of the court. He showed that he is a generational talent with a bunch of young stars around him that played their role to the T. OKC, who are you?
Yeah.
You're a team that is dominated with precision, right, with your depth. And with the 2-time MVP being able to maneuver his way through the defenses, through the cracks of the defenses, and also close out games.
Yes.
And in games 2 and 3, OKC did exactly that. So game 5, who are you? And who are you going to be tonight?
And this is the response game for Shea. This is Shea's ability to find a way to galvanize his team. You know, he's a 2-time MVP. He's a guy. He's seeing a lot of pressure. So I think this is that bench. You mentioned the bench. You can't have, as a bench that has been so successful, 6 bench points at halftime. So they need to make shots. I think Lou Dort is a guy who's going to need to make shots. If they're going to double team, Shea has to be willing to get off the ball early to get these guys shots. They have to shoot them, and obviously some have to go in. Because if not, that defense gets tougher and tougher like we've seen in the second half.
Yeah, we just saw De'Aaron Fox, what a difference he's made from the point guard position for the Spurs. Remember, they had 44 turnovers in those first 2 games, just 28 turnovers in the last 2. That's been a big difference, just stability essentially for the Spurs too.
Well, yeah, that for me, that was a big difference of having Dylan Harper and Fox be their primary ball handler. Because what you did when he was out, it put Stephen Castle in a precarious situation where that's not him to be a point guard. He needs to be an aggressor and stay in attack mode, and he's been doing that.
And he only had 1 turnover, so that helps. So that means you're getting more possessions on the offensive end instead of having to get back in transition and guard, giving Shea another opportunity to score.
All right, well, in what has been a heavyweight fight, we are getting set for round 5 with 2 teams that are tied up at 2-2. The drum line has the beat. We're going to continue to keep it rolling and get you set. And these 2 teams are knotted up at 2-2. The San Antonio Spurs and Oklahoma City Thunder have given us everything we could ever dream of for a conference finals series, as both of these squads do not want to head home and watch the NBA Finals as we shift into a best of 3 series. We've got the challengers in the Spurs, and we've got the defending champs in OKC. That's whose home we return to today. The Paycom Center. Welcome courtside, Maria Taylor, alongside the Hall of Famers, Carmelo Anthony, Vince Carter, and Tracy McGrady. Listen, we saw 2 very tight games here in OKC and convincing games for each team when we went on the road in San Antonio. But one thing remains true. Whichever star shines brighter in SGA or Victor Wembanyama, it seems as though the win goes to that squad.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about the stars, Shea and Victor. And, of course, they have to step up and they have to do what they have to do. I'm going to go left. I'm going to go Lou Dort. I'm going to go Lou Dort because when you talk about what Lou Dort brings to this team, he's the best defensive player on the OKC Thunder's team. He can not only play 16 to 18 minutes in the game. You need his intensity. You need his tenacity out there. You need him to put a body on Wemby. You need him to guard Castle. You need him to be aggressive. And also, you need him to make open shots. You can be the best defensive player on the team, but if you're not making open shots, then you can't. You're going to play 16 minutes. And tonight, you cannot play 16 minutes, Lou Dort. You have to be on the game 32 to 34 minutes. You have to help Shea feel confident on figuring this defense out. It seems like San Antonio figured Shea out. They forcing him right. They're not letting him get to his left in his bump phase. It's a lot of things that Shea have to process. So Lou Dort is one of those names that we should be on the lookout today.
Okay, that's one guy that you want to stand up.
Yes.
We also know that the big 3, it exists, is Chet Holmgren, J-Dub, who was questionable entering this game, but he is now officially out. So Chet Holmgren, step up to the plate. His scoring has gone down throughout the Western Conference Finals.
It's going down in these losses. In wins, he's been phenomenal. I mean, he's played good basketball because, why? He was aggressive. And right here, this is a player that is not confident, loses the ball right here. And then, of course, Wemby meets him at the rim. I'm not mad at this. This showing his aggression. You got to try to dunk on Wemby right there. But when you get in the trenches and you're surrounded by multiple defenders, you have to be aggressive with the ball. You have to be strong with the ball and understand where you are. And here, I would rather for him to go up and try to make a play than to lose his confidence in trying to give up the ball right there and make an ill-advised play. Because what that does, it ignites San Antonio's offense, defense to offense, and this is where they become a real big problem.
Yeah, look, you can just take a look at how the scoring, the efficiency, the rebounds, the blocks, all of them have gone down in the Western Conference Finals, and this is a true opportunity for Chet to step up. We're just finding out, too, J-Dub, with him being out, Jared McCain will get his first start of this postseason. Remember, 24 points off the bench in Game 3. All right, let's get to the Spurs defense, because what they did in Game 4 was only allow 82 points. Lowest scoring total for OKC since December 2021. Let's get into it and how they did it.
Well, let's get into it. First and foremost, in 4 games, Shea was averaging 29 points, 51% from the field, 19% from 3. In this series, only 24 points. He's shooting 27% from the three. So what that's telling me is their defense, they figured something out in the regular season that has carried over, and that's what they are. Stifling defense, not playing, not fouling, being aggressive, forcing Shea to a crowd, and then they attack the ball from there, forcing him to get off the ball and making somebody else take a tough jump shot or make a play for someone else. You see here, active hands. They're just flying around, and that's what you want. Here, not allowing Shea to get to his left, forcing him right into a crowd. Once again, Victor steps up. Making now Hartenstein, well, first and foremost, he says, nope, it's not there, but you're making Hartenstein being the facilitator and make a play. You see he throws the ball away, Shea gets the ball there. It turned out he gets a foul. Playing him in a crowd there, 1, 2, 3, 4 guys. He doesn't have the pocket pass. He has to play pass out of the screen. Here, if you notice, De'Aaron Fox is jumping on that left hand, not allowing to get left. We're gonna force you right. You knowing he wants to get to his left, nothing is there. He's forcing the issue. Here, don't play without your hands, don't foul, because he's gonna try to bait you. No foul there. You see Stephon Castle has the hands up, ref. I'm not fouling, and that's what they've done. They're making Shea play faster than he wants to, which we haven't seen all year.
Sure. 20 turnovers, too, in Game 4. That's the most OKC's had so far this postseason. Alex Caruso held to 0 points. He was the second leading scorer in this series coming into Game 4, so that's a big change. But if you look at that, you're looking at that graphic right there, who is going to be the guy that has to step up and score? You guys tell me.
Well, for me, I'm going back to this Game 5 is real pivotal.
Those are not the Salesian sisters of St. John Bosco.
So we talk about how pivotal Game 5 is, and we go down in history. I mean, it's some amazing guys have stepped up and been, you know, the best player on this floor. And I look for Alex Caruso to be that Game 5 for him to enter into NBA lore tonight of having a big game. He's shown before. Game 1 having 31 points and being a guy that relieved a lot of pressure off of Shea, whether it's guarding Wemby, right? Being a disruptor. That's who he is when he comes in the game. It's not just his scoring ability. It's his energy, right? It's very infectious. It's causing havoc on the defensive end. And I look for Alex Caruso to enter into NBA lore tonight.
Call him up.
I'm going to give you a different name. I'm going to say Jared McCain. Here's another guy that shoots the ball extremely well, plays with confidence, and the one thing he said is when he got here, Shea, amongst everybody else, said, be you, be yourself. And when we've seen McCain at his best, he knocks down open threes. He also gets in the paint and creates shots for others. I think that is someone we need. Shea needs to create, to take some pressure off of him to help loosen up that double team.
He's your guy.
And again, back to Shea. I know I said Lou Dort, but back to Shea. To me, the film tells the story. When you go back and watch that film and you break the film down and you watching how they guard you, what are you learning? What are you seeing? What story is that film telling you? Because tonight, you're going to need that. You're going to need to figure that story out quick. You can't wait to the second quarter. Can't wait the third quarter. You got to come out from the jump ball applying pressure tonight, because San Antonio is not going to wait for you to try to figure this game out.
Yeah, Mitch Johnson said after Game 3, we got to be more disciplined with Shea. That's exactly what they were in Game 4. He just had 19 points. Remember, the bench has been huge. They scored at least 50 points in the first 3 games, just 34 points in Game 4. Let's talk to our guys who are courtside calling the game, our best friends, Mike Tirico, Reggie Miller, and Jamal Crawford, to continue this conversation. Good evening, guys.
Yeah, Maria, this is just like the plane going back and forth. We got 5 guys who scored about 90 points on average during their basketball career, and we're talking hoops. And you all were just talking a lot of who. I'd love to turn to you guys and ask how this game is played. If you're a nerd and look at stats, you know pace of play comes down for everybody in the playoffs. But you pointed out something about the pace that we should be watching here in Game 5.
And it's the Spurs. Whenever the Spurs play with a great pace, they get great shots. That Thunder defense is so tough and so connected. You want to score in the first 7 seconds before they can set up. When their pace goes, now you get Wemby in space, now you get threes, now you get to the basket. That's when they're at their best.
Now, I see where you're going with
this.
Here
we go.
Right, and I understand your thought philosophy, but they do that at home well. In this building, it's got to be chaotic frenzy. And the defense that the Thunder bring, you can't play fast here if you're the Spurs. The Spurs want lower possessions, half court, because they have, to me, they have the best player in this series, which has been Wemby. Game 1 and 4, he was phenomenal. If you lower those possessions, the ball is going to go through Wemby. if you try to play fast and you're not making shots, I think that's when the playmakers and those role players for the Thunder become a problem. So to me, that's why tempo and pace has been key in this series through the first four.
So you want San Antonio to not go as fast, to play a little bit slower?
On the road, yes, because
Okay.
they have the best player. At home, you get away with that.
And I want them to play fast on the road because it's going to settle them and bring their role players into the game, especially with the Thunder not at full strength. Play fast, get some easy buckets, and then I think you'll settle in on the road.
This is what makes this great, because only in a matter of minutes we're going to know which one of us is correct.
Yeah, this was an hour of my lunch. Didn't get a lot of words in, but heard a lot of hoops talk that we share with you. Maria, we'll see you all
Hey,
for
wait,
tip.
wait, Mike, I gotta ask you.
Yeah.
You said our starting five. Who's your leading scorer?
Oh, the leading scorer
Yeah.
from this group?
Uh-huh.
Melo, Q's in the house.
There you go. Sorry, Red. Sorry, Jamal. We'll talk to y'all later. Have a great call. It's gonna be great. We love to just put a little tension in there over that. Speaking of Melo, let's get his star player parlay on DraftKings Sportsbook.
Listen,
What do you need,
We're going to score a
Melo?
lot of points today, man. Look, here you go. Wemby over 1.5 threes. Look, he shot 1 for 6 from deep in game 4, but he's averaging 2 a game in this series, and OKC got to double him in the paint. He's going to get clean looks tonight, so bet on that. Shea over 3.5 rebounds. He's averaging 3 a game this series, but he's coming back home with something to prove, and when he's locked in, we know Shea is going to hit the glass. Stephon Castle, 5+ rebounds. He had 10 in game 4, career playoff high. Spurs are playing him at the 4 sometimes. Wemby drawing the bigs, Castle's cleaning up. That's my ticket, and lock it in
The
tonight.
winner.
This is the one. This is the postseason winner. Wemby all smiles right now, coming off a 33-point game. He did hit a half-court three, so maybe that's a good sign for Melo, averaging 30 points, 13 rebounds throughout this Western Conference Finals. We'll see what kind of superstar performance we're going to get from this young man tonight. For Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander coming off of a 19-point performance. He said that his team has to start fast. They were not able to do that well on the road in San Antonio, but they've been here before. Remember, they were 2-2 in the Western Conference semis and finals last season. They won in 7. Let's talk about more what's at stake. If the series is tied 2-2, the team that wins Game 5 wins the series over 81% of the time. The Thunder also coming off of a loss in Game 4. They haven't lost back-to-back playoff games in 2 years. They are 8-0 and bounce back opportunities. So let's get into it. Let's start with the Spurs. They are the challengers. Stephon Castle, he's described by Mitch Johnson as one of the attack dogs, the guy that you need to be aggressive. And how do you continue to harness that aggression and stay disciplined as well?
Well, I think for him, he's back in a position where he's comfortable, and that is to be an attack on defensive end, right? Being a pest and muck up the game, and also make things hard for Shai. Like I think he's the one guy on this roster that can really make it tough for Shai on the offensive end because of his size and his strength, right? It's different getting downhill on a guy like him versus, I mean, I take example for myself when you're playing against a Ron Artest versus a Bruce Bowen. Great defenders, but man, going downhill against Ron Artest is going to wear you out. So it's the same with Castle. Like, you battling him for a 7-game series, and that man is just beating you up every time you're trying to get downhill. That is a tough, task to deal with.
But the one thing he cannot do is get caught up into the antics. He can't get caught up into all of the fouling. He cannot play with his hands. He needs to be aggressive, but it's hands on, hands off, because Shai is going to take advantage of that at some point. We saw when he got caught up into it, he got himself in foul trouble. He sat down and he was not effective for his team. So that's a key factor for me with Stephon Castle, particularly playing on the road in this environment.
When you talk about a numbers game, I think Shai and OKC understands the winner of Game 5 is going to win this 81% it's about 82% of the time. And Shai knows that. OKC knows that. They've been here before. They've been 2-2 tied up with Denver last year. They've been 2-2 against Indiana. They understand how to win these basketball games. Again, I said this earlier. Shai, I want to know what he saw on that film. It's been 4 games. He got an opportunity to see 3-4 different defenses. The defense is coming in waves at Shai. I want to see how he responds to tonight. How long it's going to take him to figure this out and put the pen to paper to go out there and put his foot to the gas, because Shai have an opportunity to take this game on his shoulders tonight. He really haven't had a breakout game this series. He's been efficient, he's been effective, but he haven't had a breakout game this series. So let's be on the lookout for Shai having that game tonight.
Yeah, maybe the best game was Game 3, 30 points and 9 assists. There's Chet Holmgren. You can see the scoring has dipped about 7 points from the first 2 rounds to the Western Conference Finals. Shai did say the lessons get louder when you lose. The lessons that Chet is learning right now, they are what throughout the course of this series?
I think for him, it's just don't worry about scoring. Just worry about competing, right? And I think he's looking at Wemby, and he's kind of shying away from competing against Wemby. So don't worry about that. You can make things tough for him just by utilizing your length and your size, right? Keep him in front. Compete at the top. Also, on the defensive end, make him guard in space. Right now, I think you're shying away from things that you can make difficult for Wemby because he's a little timid. Be aggressive, stay aggressive, and just go at him and attack.
We've seen their defense now bottle up Shea, and they're kind of leaving guys open into three. So the corner three will be there for OKC. One of those being for Chet. He has to shoot them, and when he needs to put the ball on the floor, attack the rim. In one of your clips, he attacked Wemby at the top of the rim. Yes, he got it blocked. So what? The more you go, the more opportunity you get, possibly putting Wemby in foul trouble.
Let's have a conversation about this bench. Jared McCain, he steps off of it. He gets into the starting lineup because J-Dub is out. Remember, Cason Wallace actually started Game 4 in replacement of J-Dub. But what do we expect from Jared McCain? Now, listen, he gets the start. He threw up 20 shots already. We've seen him do that in a game before. One thing he's not is shy when it comes to shooting the ball.
No, his confidence is out this roof. And also, McCain has something to prove. He was part of that trade that he said he cried during that, when he got traded. Coming here, he's part of a championship team, championship organization. They gave him his role. They was very clear on his role. Tonight, he got to up that role. He got to put on a different hat tonight. He's in the starting lineup. He got to play different type of minutes today. He got to come with a different type of energy and a different mindset today. And he have to be aggressive. Those 20 shots, I'm not worried about him taking 20 shots. He's gonna convert on a lot of those shots. I want to see him go out there and play. I want to see him go out there and make these shots and give them a lift.
And Victor Wembanyama has made his way to the court, coming off of a 33-point game in which he put an exclamation point on the first half. He had a walk-off three. He had 22 points in the first half, and he was a man on a mission. His mission tonight, I don't think it's changed at all, but we expect to see what VC from him.
Attack early, go at Chet like he's done, setting the tone for his team. Three guys here who's been the go-to guys on their team, knowing in the playoffs, I need to set the tone. And it's not always shooting the ball, but it's being aggressive, getting in there, understanding that he's gonna require all the attention, get other guys easy shots. And after that, it's easy pickings for him because Wemby is able to make plays for other guys as well.
Who y'all going with?
Ooh, make a pick. I like it, T.
My mic's not working.
Make a pick.
Who y'all going with?
I'm going to go OKC tonight.
Going San Antonio. Wemby about to have another historic night on the road.
All right, so you're expecting a 40-20 game from Victor Wembanyama. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. You're going to be transcendent
yes.
today? Okay.
Yes, he will.
All right,
Big
so
number.
two guys are going with the challengers. One guy going with the reigning champion. Either way it goes, OKC, they are 16-3 in the postseason over the last 2 years in this place. We got a whiteout. It is Loud City. It is Game 5 between the Thunder and the Spurs.